Hi, I'm Rose. I'm Rose. There's a reason I say I am Rose. I know on Facebook, when you try to find me, it says M-E-L-I-A, Lord. Well, that M-E-L-I-A is a name given to me when I was a slave. I was born into slavery and born under that name. Now, as a child, my mom named me, she said, after a Hawaiian girl that was in her class when she was student teaching. And I grew up and I met that woman. She grew up and taught with my mom. And all of my life, I was told that it was Malia. My mom would yell at Malia. Kids at school, teachers said it wrong. They said Melia, Malaya, all kinds of mutilations of the blasted thing. And from the very beginning, it just like crawled up my skin. My mom told me I was named after the plumeria flower. That's what the name meant. So I went in school being picked on. Amelia Bedelia was huge, and so I got called Amelia, Malaya, Amelia, all kinds of things. And then when the internet came out, I got named Cajun Rose. And Cajun Rose because if you were good to me, I was sweet as a rose. But if you pissed me off, you better watch out for my thorns. And because I'm Cajun, I'm from South Louisiana, and I'm very proud of my Cajun heritage. It was mostly stolen from me, but I am proud of being Cajun, before Cajun was cool. And so the internet came out, and I started going by Cajun Rose on the internet. In my life, I was still Mom most of the time. Mom. When the grandkids came when I was 35, I was Mammy. At work, I was Mia. The kids in my pediatric ward would call me my Mia. And when I worked in the prison, I was just Miss G. So not very often did I hear that name. For the most part, my life was about my family, not about other people. And then when I started this journey, I was parked along. I was following signs, following Jesus, and I stopped in Louisiana somewhere near Alexandria, Louisiana, and there was a sign, and it said enough is enough, stand up for Jesus. And I was told by Jesus to stop and take a picture of the sign, and I did. And then I turned around and I noticed that the sign said Park Lane, and I was just driving around following signs. That's a whole other story. And so I parked, and I was picking up cans to recycle them. So I pick up the first can, and there's a crystal under it, and there's not crystals in Louisiana. And so then I pick up another can, and there's a crystal under it. And then I pick up a third can, and there was a little lost dog tag. There's a picture of it on my Facebook page. And it had turned into a rainbow, and I was following rainbow signs. And so, which is a whole other story in itself too, but I was following rainbow signs. And so I picked it up, and I knew I was done, so I went back to the truck, and I was sitting there, and I rubbed off the back of it, and it said, I am Rose. And so I drove over. I was going to see my sister, and she was busy, so I was sitting there bored, and I rubbed off the other side, and I said, "I am lost. Please call my mama." And so I did. I called the number. And the lady that answered couldn't even remember what dog that was. She raised dogs, and said it must have been at least a couple of years. And I told her I wanted to get it back to her. So she sent her husband to meet me, and I drove down the road again, and I met her husband, and my truck looked like Beverly Hillbillies at the time. It was like 2013. And the man showed up, and I told him I was a traveling traitus, which means a traveling healer. And in Louisiana, they know what healers are. And so I was like, "I don't quite know why I'm here." And he started crying, and he said, "I know why you're here." He said, "Not 20 minutes ago, my son gave me a call and said he was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, and that there was nothing that the doctors could do. And he said, you're here to give me a message." And I said, "Well, I'm here to also give you some medicine." And I had colloidal silver and some fulvic acid, and I gave it to him and told him how to use it. A wizard in Mississippi had given it to me. And we prayed together, and from that point on, like, I really took on that I'm Rose. And through my journey, I wound up being a Mary devotee and following Mother Mary and Magdalene and becoming the Rose. And I am just a Cajun variety. It's my own personal filter that the Rose comes through. I am not the only one, and I go by Rose. Going on into the journey, I went to Hawaii, and I wound up at a street named Melia, and I wound up twice, signed so much. And I wound up in council with Uncle Sam, who lives down in near Puna, and at Uncle Robert's kitchen. And he told me how my name was actually said, Melia, Melia, and it means calm waters. But even in Hawaii, they called me Lokilani, which means heavenly rose. So the only place where my name is said in a way that actually like makes me it makes me, melt and not crawl up my skin is Hawaii. And even there, they call me Rose, Lokilani. So if you want to be my friend, if you want to me feel like we're really connected at all, you will not refer to me by that other name. And that is like a red flag for me that somebody's attempting to pull a power move. Melia was actually declared dead by the Social Security and banking system. I had to go back in as Rose and get her re-declared alive again. So I really have no attachment to that name other than it allows me to travel and have a bank account now after many years of not having one. But I am in no way, shape, form, or fashion. I am a sovereign being, and if you want to call me Time, because it is my full intention to change my legal name to Time Lord. I think that's funny. But otherwise, like, if you really want me to feel like you see me and not think you're pulling some power move on me, especially after I've told you this, and then you call me, because when I see it written Malia, and that's like my mom calling the kid, and it's also calling me into a body that, calling a dead woman back into a body that is no longer hers. She gave it up when she committed suicide in 2010. And she's devoted her life to embodying the Rose. So if you don't want me to think you're pulling a power move on me and calling back my trauma, then call me Rose. Now you know. And now I have a video I can just send to anybody instead of having to have this conversation all the time. So, loving you. Peace.